Happy New Year's, fellas, and whoever's out there watching today. It is a new year. January 1, 2026. Wow. I know y'all probably feel the same way like I do about 2025. Over. Like that, at least for me. Wow. What a year of highs and lows and question marks for me. Making this video, it's been a minute. Just check in, give you all a little update, and just kind of express some thoughts that have been marinating on my mind, and maybe y'all can get some value from this video. But I'll kick it off with a quote that I saw. It was on some podcast. I don't know if it was Alex Hormozy or some random podcast I was watching where they were talking about regret. And one of the moves that spurred me on the path that I'm on as an entrepreneur, building my brand, going all in on real estate, one of the big triggers was regret, right? Going through what I'd gone through at the big tech company, in just being a brutal reminder in how no matter how much you give your heart and soul to something, you can be discarded so easily. And in this podcast, the quote, it went something like, if you think the price of winning is too high, wait until you get the bill for the price of regret. I'll say it again. If you think the price of winning is too high, wait until you get the bill for the price of regret. And that just hit me in a way that emboldened my decision, in where I essentially burned the boats with corporate America and burning through my savings every day. Some days are better than others where I'm like all in. Some days I'm like, I'm human. I still have a little bit of doubt from time to time. Like, what if this all fails? And I spent a year, 2 years burning through my entire life savings, and I failed. Right? But that quote just brought me back. Back on the path, back on track, to where I understand my comfort level in the decision made, and it is just so. I've accepted it, whatever outcome it is. And we all know, we get into the you should detach, freedom of outcome. We all know the things, right? We all hear the videos. We've all studied Eastern philosophy and all that stuff, and we all know. But when you're riding in the storm, I'll be honest, even knowing all that knowledge, no one talks about this as much. It ain't freaking easy. And I know it's not supposed to be easy. And so what I'll say there is, even if you still have a little bit of doubt, a little bit of attachment, that's part of you growing and struggling and wrestling with that part of life. And that's okay, as long as you're pushing and you're hyper aware of where you're trying to go, what it's going to cost, and in the back of your mind, thinking of, if I don't do this, if genuinely you would have regret. And only you know that as a human. No YouTube, no podcast, no video is going to coach you up and train you in that regard. Right? Everyone's preaching and trying to give advice from a good place, right? To try to help people, including me. But at the end of the day, only you're going to know that. So today, I'm rolling into the new year. It is day I think it's around day 75 of retaining my energy. And Lord knows I've needed it. Like, I have been working my ass off in this real estate game. It's 24/7. I work 7 days a week. Whether it's researching neighborhoods, cold calling, doing open houses, setting that up, door knocking, meeting the neighbors, circle dialing, all these fundamental things that it takes to be successful in real estate, as selling property, selling land, selling residential, all of it, which is my lane. You need all the freaking energy you can get. And I will say on this streak, compared to the last streak where I hit 78 days, and I told y'all in some of the videos, I think it was 2 or 3 videos ago, I almost got in a fight. I was very angry towards the end, like on that longer tail end of the streak. I think like when I hit 65 days plus, I just was always on edge, always angry, at least for me. What I will say is on this new streak, meditating and eating clean. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record. That has helped me at least feel a little bit more calm, at ease, and it just feels like a cleaner, more productive streak with not a lot of negative energy. Granted, trust and believe. There's still that aggression, that shadow there that lurks. I could feel it. When I say shadow, I'm not talking about evil or anything like that. Just that aggression in not taking shit from anyone, but the way I go about it might be a little bit different than being directly confrontational, right? And there are moments where I had to set people straight, but just the way I went about it, it was more tactful, and I still stood on business, if that makes sense. So, yeah, new year, new me, all that jazz that everyone's going to be talking about today on YouTube, and I love it. It is a good anchor to reset and to reflect and to re-strategize what y'all are trying to accomplish this year. I have my goals already written out. I'd say keep them top of mind. I actually write down my top 3 goals. I wrote them down a couple weeks ago for this year on an index card, and I keep it in my wallet at all times. I know it sounds cheesy, but find a way, find a strategy where you're constantly looking at that goal to stay on track. So anyhow, I'm going to try to keep this thing under 10 minutes, just checking in. And again, that quote around regret that I mentioned in the beginning of the video, you know, that's one thing. I do not want to look back on my life. I know a lot of you probably feel the same way. Some of you may not care, but regret. No way I want to look back regretting not going for broke, for building something for myself when I know my God-given inherent abilities. I know me, and you know you more than anyone, any podcast, any book, any coach, any educator, anyone. Only God knows you as well as you know you, right? So I'll leave it at that. Cheers to a fresh year for y'all. Set the tone today. Get after it. Clean the house. Hit the gym. Cook for the week or cook for the next few days. Get back on the healthy habits, and just to set the tone for the new year. Anyway, love y'all. Have a good one. Till next time. Later.